I want to talk about the power of staying calm and why we should never react impulsively. Emotions are like waves in the ocean. They rise and fall, coming and going with time. When something upsets us, it often feels like the most important thing in the world at that moment. However, what we fail to realize is that emotions are fleeting. What seems unbearable today may not even matter a few days from now. But if we react impulsively in that heated moment, the consequences of a reaction can last far longer than the emotion itself. Words spoken in anger, decisions made in frustration, and actions taken without thought can leave permanent marks on our lives and relationships. Imagine a situation where you are deeply hurt by a friend's comment. Your immediate reaction might be to lash out, say something hurtful in return, or even cut them off completely. However, after some time, when emotions settle, you may realize that the comment was not intended to hurt you, or perhaps the friend was having a bad day. By reacting impulsively, you may have caused unnecessary damage to a relationship that could have been mended with calm communication. In contrast, if you had taken a moment to breathe and process your emotions, you could have responded in a way that preserved both your dignity and the friendship. Another example is in the workplace. Many people experience moments of frustration with their bosses or co-workers. A harsh email, an unfair decision, or an unreasonable demand might make you want to react instantly, perhaps by sending an angry response or voicing your frustration in an unprofessional manner. But what happens next? That email cannot be unsent. The words spoken in anger cannot be taken back. A single reaction made in the heat of the moment could harm your professional reputation and future opportunities. Instead, if you take time to cool down, you might approach the issue more tactfully, finding a way to express yourself that leads to resolution rather than conflict. The power of staying calm is most evident in personal relationships. Think about arguments with loved ones, partners, parents, siblings, or close friends. When emotions take over, it's easy to say things you don't truly mean, things that cut deep and leave scars. Later, when the anger fades, you might regret your words, but the damage is done. Even if you apologize, some words cannot be forgotten. This is why learning to pause before reacting is crucial. A moment of silence, a deep breath, or simply walking away for a while can prevent an emotional outburst that you might later wish you could erase. This concept also applies in stressful situations outside of personal interactions. Imagine being stuck in traffic, dealing with rude strangers, or facing unexpected challenges. Your immediate reaction might be frustration, honking your horn aggressively, or engaging in an unnecessary argument. But is the frustration worth it? Reacting in anger only raises your own stress levels and rarely changes the situation for the better. Instead, practicing patience and reminding yourself that the emotion will pass can save you from unnecessary stress and conflict. Ultimately, emotions are powerful, but they should never dictate our actions. Feelings will come and go, but the choices we make in response to them can have lasting effects. The ability to separate temporary emotions from permanent actions is what sets emotionally intelligent people apart. Before reacting, always ask yourself, is this emotion controlling me, or am I in control of my emotion? More often than not, waiting before reacting will allow you to make choices that you won't regret later. In life, we cannot always control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond. When we allow emotions like anger, frustration, or fear to take over, we surrender our power to the situation or the person provoking us. But when we remain calm, we retain control over our thoughts, actions, and ultimately the outcome. The ability to stay composed in difficult moments is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of immense strength and self-discipline. It allows us to navigate challenges with clarity rather than being swept away by impulsive emotions. Think of a heated argument between two people. One person is yelling, accusing, and throwing insults, while the other remains calm and composed. Who looks more in control? Who has the upper hand? It is always the person who remains calm. When you refuse to be provoked, you strip away the other person's power to manipulate your emotions. People who lose their temper easily are often seen as unstable, while those who maintain their composure command respect. Calmness is not about suppressing your emotions, but about choosing when and how to express them in a way that benefits you rather than harms you. One of the greatest advantages of staying calm is the ability to think clearly. When emotions run high, they cloud our judgment. Stress triggers our fight or flight response, making us act on impulse rather than reason. This can lead to poor decisions that we later regret. A calm mind, on the other hand, can analyze a situation objectively, weigh the consequences, and make rational choices, whether it's handling a crisis at work, dealing with a personal conflict, or making an important life decision. Calmness ensures that we respond intelligently rather than react emotionally. Calmness is also crucial in leadership. Great leaders, whether in business, politics, or personal life, are not the ones who panic under pressure. They are the ones who remain steady in the face of chaos, providing reassurance to those around them. People naturally gravitate toward those who can handle stressful situations without losing their cool. Imagine a leader who panics and reacts impulsively every time a problem arises. Such a person would quickly lose the trust of their team. On the other hand, a leader who stays calm and collected inspires confidence and makes sound decisions even in the toughest moments. Additionally, staying calm protects your mental and physical health. Stress, anger, and anxiety take a toll on the body, leading to high blood pressure, weakened immunity, and even chronic illnesses. Reacting impulsively often comes from a place of stress, while calmness reduces unnecessary tension and keeps your mind and body in balance. When you remain calm, you are not only protecting your relationships and reputation, but also your well-being. Learning how to regulate your emotions through deep breathing, mindfulness, or simply pausing before reacting can have long-term benefits for both your personal and professional life. In a world full of distractions, challenges, and unexpected situations, maintaining calmness is one of the most powerful skills you can develop. It gives you control over your emotions, your decisions, and ultimately your life. Instead of being a victim of circumstances, you become the master of your own responses. With time and practice, staying calm becomes second nature, allowing you to face any situation with confidence and wisdom. The decisions we make shape our lives, and the quality of those decisions depends on the state of mind we are in when making them. When we are overwhelmed by emotions like anger, fear, or frustration, our ability to think logically is severely compromised. A calm mind, however, allows us to see things clearly, weigh our options, and make better choices. Whether it's a simple daily decision or a life-altering one, staying calm ensures that we act based on wisdom rather than impulse. Think about a time when you made a decision in the heat of the moment, perhaps quitting a job in anger, walking away from a relationship without thinking it through, or saying something hurtful in an argument. In hindsight, you might have realized that if you had taken a moment to calm down, you would have handled the situation differently. This is because emotions distort our perception, making small problems seem bigger than they are and causing us to act irrationally. When we give ourselves the space to cool down, we can approach situations with a balanced perspective. A calm mind is especially important in high-pressure situations. Imagine a doctor performing surgery, a pilot navigating through turbulence, or a firefighter responding to an emergency. If they allowed panic to take over, the consequences could be disastrous. Instead, they remain composed, relying on training and clear thinking to make critical decisions. While most of us may not face life or death situations daily, we do encounter challenges that require sound judgment. Whether handling a difficult conversation, making financial choices, or solving a work problem, a calm mind enables us to think strategically and make the best possible decision. Another aspect of decision-making is problem-solving. When emotions are heightened, our ability to find solutions diminishes. Stress narrows our thinking, making us focus on the problem rather than potential solutions. A calm mind, on the other hand, is more creative and open to possibilities. It allows us to explore different options, consider various perspectives, and choose the most effective course of action. In contrast, reacting impulsively often leads to short-term fixes that create even bigger problems down the line. Calm decision-making is also crucial in relationships. Whether it's with family, friends, or colleagues, conflicts are inevitable. When emotions take control, we may react by blaming, yelling, or shutting people out. However, these reactions rarely solve the issue. They usually make it worse. A calm mind helps us communicate better, listen actively, and respond in a way that fosters understanding rather than division. Instead of making a decision based on anger or hurt, we can step back, reflect, and choose a response that strengthens rather than damages the relationship. Additionally, staying calm allows us to trust our instincts. When we are overwhelmed, we often second-guess ourselves or rush into decisions out of fear. But a calm mind has the ability to process information more effectively, leading to greater self-trust. Instead of acting out of anxiety, we can tap into our inner wisdom and make decisions that align with our long-term goals. The ability to pause, breathe, and assess a situation before making a choice is one of the most valuable skills a person can develop. Ultimately, every decision we make has consequences, and those consequences are often shaped by the state of mind we were in when making the choice. Reacting impulsively can lead to regret, but responding with a clear and composed mind leads to better outcomes. Developing the habit of staying calm before making decisions is not just a useful skill, it is a necessity for anyone who wants to live a life of wisdom, stability, and success. Respect is not demanded, it is earned. One of the most powerful ways to earn respect is by staying calm, even in the face of adversity. People naturally gravitate toward those who can handle stress and conflict with grace and composure. Whether in professional settings, personal relationships, or social interactions, those who remain calm under pressure are seen as more mature, trustworthy, and capable. A person who reacts impulsively may be feared or tolerated, but a person who remains composed earns true respect. Think about the leaders, mentors, or role models you admire. Most likely, they are people who don't let their emotions get the best of them. Instead of yelling, panicking, or acting irrationally, they maintain their cool and approach situations with a level head. This calm demeanor makes others feel safe and confident in their leadership. People who lose their temper easily or react emotionally often lose credibility because they seem unstable and unpredictable. In contrast, those who remain composed in difficult situations are perceived as wise and in control. In professional environments, the ability to stay calm is a highly valued trait. A manager who remains calm during a crisis earns the trust of their team. An employee who stays composed under pressure is seen as reliable and capable of handling greater responsibilities. A business leader who keeps their emotions in check during negotiations gains respect and influence. On the other hand, those who react impulsively or emotionally often struggle to gain the respect of their peers and superiors. In workplaces where pressure is high, the ability to maintain composure can be the difference between success and failure. The same principle applies in personal relationships. When conflicts arise, people respect those who can listen, process their emotions, and respond thoughtfully rather than react with anger or defensiveness. Imagine being in an argument with someone who, raising your voice, eventually you may feel embarrassed or even ashamed of your outburst because their composure highlights your lack of control. People who stay calm in difficult conversations show emotional intelligence, which earns them the respect of those around them. Calmness is also a sign of confidence. When you stay composed, you send the message that you are secure in yourself and do not need to prove your worth through aggression or emotional outbursts. People respect confidence, and true confidence is displayed through self-control. Those who react impulsively often appear insecure, as if they need to assert themselves through emotional reactions. In contrast, those who remain calm exude quiet strength, showing that they do not need to be loud or aggressive to be heard and respected. Moreover, staying calm allows you to command authority without force. A teacher who calmly handles a disruptive student earns more respect than one who shouts. A police officer who de-escalates a tense situation through composure is seen as more competent than one who reacts aggressively. A parent who disciplines their child with calm reasoning rather than yelling fosters a relationship built on mutual respect rather than fear. In every aspect of life, composure leads to a deeper, more genuine form of respect from others. At the end of the day, people remember how you made them feel. A person who stays calm in difficult situations makes others feel safe, respected, and valued. Whether at work, in relationships, or in social settings, maintaining composure sets you apart as someone who is in control of themselves and worthy of admiration. Those who can keep their emotions in check, no matter the circumstance, will always be held in higher regard than those who let emotions dictate their actions. Anger is a powerful emotion, and when it is not controlled, it can escalate conflicts rather than resolve them. When we react out of anger, we often end up making a situation worse than it initially was. Whether in arguments, stressful situations, or misunderstandings, reacting with anger rarely leads to anything productive. It only increases tension, damages relationships, and leaves behind regrets. Imagine a simple disagreement between two people. One person says something offensive and the other immediately snaps back with even harsher words. Instead of diffusing the situation, this reaction intensifies the conflict. What started as a minor issue quickly turns into a full-blown argument, with both sides saying things they might later regret. If just one person had chosen to remain calm and not react impulsively, the argument could have been avoided or resolved peacefully. This is why learning to manage anger is essential, because reacting emotionally often leads to unnecessary damage. Reacting with anger can also push people away. No one likes to be around someone who is constantly on edge, always ready to explode at the slightest inconvenience. When a person is known for their temper, others may start avoiding them, fearing unnecessary confrontation. This can harm friendships, family relationships, and even professional connections. Over time, people lose patience with someone who cannot control their reactions, and they may begin distancing themselves. In contrast, those who remain calm are more approachable and are trusted to handle situations maturely. Another major problem with anger is that it blinds us to reason. When we are in an emotional state, our ability to think clearly is compromised. Instead of looking at the bigger picture and seeking solutions, we focus on our frustration and the need to be right. This can lead to hasty decisions that we later regret. Many people have quit jobs, ended relationships, or made irreversible mistakes simply because they acted out of anger without considering the long-term consequences. A few moments of calm reflection could have helped them make a wiser choice. Furthermore, anger can escalate even small misunderstandings into major conflicts. In many cases, what upsets us in the moment may not seem as important once we have calmed down. A single rude comment or an inconvenient situation might not have been worth the emotional reaction we gave it. When we react immediately, we don't allow ourselves time to assess whether the issue is truly worth our energy. More often than not, if we wait and reflect, we realize that staying calm was the better option. On a psychological level, reacting with anger is often a sign of weakness, not strength. It shows that we are letting the situation control us rather than taking control of ourselves. True strength lies in the ability to remain composed, to choose our response rather than letting emotions dictate our actions. The most respected and influential people in history were those who mastered their emotions, not those who let their emotions master them. Calmness is a form of power, while uncontrolled anger is a sign of instability. Anger also takes a toll on our mental and physical well-being. When we allow ourselves to react impulsively, our stress levels increase, our blood pressure rises, and we experience heightened anxiety. Over time, frequent anger can lead to health problems, including heart disease and weakened immune function. On the other hand, those who practice self-control experience greater emotional stability, better relationships, and improved overall well-being. Learning to remain calm is not just about handling conflicts, it's about protecting our health and peace of mind. Ultimately, reacting with anger rarely improves a situation, it only intensifies it. By choosing to stay calm, we create space for solutions, understanding, and better decision-making. While anger may feel justified in the moment, it usually leads to regret later. Instead of adding fuel to the fire, we must learn to extinguish it through patience, self-control, and thoughtful responses. Words and actions once spoken or taken cannot be undone. They carry weight, and in moments of heightened emotion, it is easy to say or do things that we later regret. Staying calm gives us the critical ability to think before we speak or act, ensuring that our responses are thoughtful and measured, rather than impulsive and destructive. This simple habit can prevent misunderstandings, avoid conflicts, and ultimately lead to better relationships and decisions in all aspects of life. When emotions take over, we often speak without considering the impact of our words. In the heat of an argument, people tend to blurt out things that they don't truly mean simply because they feel hurt or frustrated in the moment. These words can cut deep and leave lasting emotional wounds. A single angry comment can ruin a friendship. damage a professional relationship, or cause pain to a loved one. However, if we pause and stay calm, we give ourselves the chance to reflect before responding, making it more likely that we will communicate in a way that is constructive rather than harmful. This principle applies not just to words, but also to actions. Many people have made hasty decisions in moments of anger or distress. Quitting a job, walking away from a relationship, or making a financial choice they later regret. These decisions are often driven by temporary emotions rather than careful consideration. When we stay calm, we allow ourselves time to think logically rather than acting on impulse. This prevents us from making choices that we might later wish we could take back. Staying calm also gives us the opportunity to see the bigger picture. When we react immediately, we focus only on the problem at hand and how it makes us feel. However, when we take a step back, we can analyze the situation from multiple perspectives. We can ask ourselves, is this really worth my energy? What is the best outcome I can aim for? How will my words or actions affect the people involved? This ability to reflect before responding helps us make wiser decisions that benefit us in the long run rather than satisfying a fleeting emotional impulse. Another advantage of thinking before speaking or acting is that it allows us to communicate more effectively. When we are calm, we can choose our words carefully, express ourselves clearly, and avoid unnecessary conflict. Instead of reacting with anger or frustration, we can articulate our thoughts in a way that leads to understanding and resolution. In contrast, when we speak without thinking, we often escalate conflicts, making it harder to find common ground or reach a peaceful conclusion. Moreover, when we take time to think before we react, we become more emotionally intelligent. Emotional intelligence is the ability to understand, manage, and regulate our own emotions while also recognizing and responding to the emotions of others. People who master this skill are often more successful in their personal and professional lives because they know how to handle difficult conversations, navigate conflicts, and build stronger relationships. The ability to pause before speaking or acting is also a sign of maturity and self-control. Children react impulsively because they have not yet developed the ability to regulate their emotions. As we grow older, we are expected to master this skill, yet many adults still struggle with it. Those who learn to pause, reflect, and respond thoughtfully earn respect and trust from others. They show that they can handle difficult situations with wisdom and grace, making them more dependable and influential in their personal and professional circles. Ultimately, staying calm is not about suppressing emotions, but about managing them in a way that leads to better outcomes. By thinking before we speak or act, we protect our relationships, our reputations, and our own peace of mind. A moment of patience, a deep breath, or a brief pause before responding can make all the difference between a regrettable reaction and a wise decision. The ability to pause and reflect before reacting is not something that happens automatically. It is a skill that must be developed with patience and practice. In the fast-paced world we live in, where everything demands an immediate response, taking a step back and pausing before reacting can feel unnatural. However, those who train themselves to pause and reflect gain a significant advantage in handling life's challenges with wisdom and clarity. When we resist the urge to react immediately, We allow ourselves the time needed to think logically, evaluate our emotions, and make better decisions. Pausing before reacting gives us control over our emotions rather than letting our emotions control us. It allows us to recognize what we are feeling in the moment, whether it is anger, frustration, or sadness, and process it before responding. This self-awareness is crucial because emotions, while valid, are often temporary. What feels like a crisis in one moment might not seem as important after taking a few deep breaths. By making it a habit to pause, we create a gap between our emotions and our response, preventing us from saying or doing something we might later regret. Reflection during this pause is just as important as the pause itself. Taking a moment to ask ourselves simple questions. Why am I feeling this way? What is the best way to handle this? Will my reaction help or make things worse? Can completely change the way we respond. Instead of reacting with anger or frustration, we might choose to respond with patience and understanding. This habit of reflection not only improves our interactions with others, but also helps us make better choices that align with our long-term goals and values. One of the most effective ways to train yourself to pause and reflect is through mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment, aware of your thoughts and feelings without being overwhelmed by them. By regularly practicing mindfulness techniques such as deep breathing, meditation, or simply observing our thoughts without judgment, we strengthen our ability to remain calm and composed in stressful situations. Over time, mindfulness makes it easier to pause naturally before reacting, allowing us to respond with greater thoughtfulness and control. Another powerful method for developing the habit of pausing is practicing delayed responses. In situations where emotions are running high, such as during an argument, a disagreement at work, or a stressful moment, make it a rule to take a few seconds or even minutes before speaking. If possible, step away from the situation entirely to gather your thoughts. Something as simple as saying, "Let me think about this for a moment," or "I need a little time to process this," can give you the space needed to respond more wisely rather than emotionally. The more you practice this, the more natural it will become. Journaling can also be an effective way to train yourself to pause and reflect. Writing down your thoughts and emotions allows you to process them in a structured way rather than reacting impulsively. When you take time to write about a stressful event or an argument before responding, you gain clarity and perspective that you wouldn't have had in the heat of the moment. Over time, this practice trains your brain to slow down and think before reacting in real-time situations. Pausing and reflecting also help improve our relationships. Whether it's a disagreement with a loved one, a misunderstanding with a friend, or a tense interaction with a colleague, taking the time to reflect before responding can prevent unnecessary conflict. Instead of reacting defensively or angrily, we can approach the situation with a clear mind, making it easier to find common ground. When people see that we are thoughtful in our responses, they respect us more and are more likely to listen to our point of view. Like any skill, the ability to pause and reflect requires practice and patience. At first, it may feel difficult, especially in moments of high emotion, but the more we train ourselves to step back before reacting, the more natural it becomes. Over time, we develop a greater sense of control over our thoughts and emotions, leading to wiser decisions, healthy relationships, and a more peaceful state of mind. Training yourself to stay calm and avoid reacting impulsively is one of the most valuable skills you can develop. Life is full of challenges, conflicts, and unexpected situations, but how you handle them determines your success and peace of mind. When you learn to pause, reflect, and respond thoughtfully, you gain control over your emotions rather than letting them control you. This not only helps you make better decisions, but also earns you the respect of those around you. By staying calm, you protect your relationships, your reputation, and your mental well-being. You avoid unnecessary conflicts, prevent regretful mistakes, and create an environment where logical thinking takes precedence over emotional reactions. The ability to maintain composure, even in the face of stress or provocation, is a sign of true strength and emotional intelligence. It's important to remember that remaining calm does not mean suppressing emotions or ignoring problems. It means acknowledging your feelings, understanding them, and choosing a response that leads to the best possible outcome. With patience and practice, you can train yourself to develop this powerful habit, turning it into a natural part of your personality. In a world where people often react before thinking, those who can remain calm stand out. They inspire trust, demonstrate maturity, and handle situations with wisdom. Whether in personal relationships, the workplace, or everyday interactions, mastering the art of staying calm will serve you well throughout life. So take a deep breath, pause, and remember, staying calm is not just a reaction, it is a strategy for a more peaceful and successful life.